Hello, Sharon. How are you? I'm pretty good, but now I can't hear you again.
Oh, no, not again. Let me
No,
try
it's
something
back.
else.
It's back.
We're back? Oh, good, good.
Okay, we've been
No,
having some issues with Be Live this morning. No audio on either side, so keep your fingers crossed that this keeps working. Alrighty, so you're a kinesiologist to the stars. What do you
Am
actually
I
do
to the stars?
to the stars? Well, I think small business owners are stars.
Actually go out on your own and take the plunge and step into something.
Mm-hmm.
So this fear that people have about stepping out and actually becoming themselves, this is where I work. There's a lot of programming we have from when we're really young. Things like girls can't do this, and women should be at home looking after their kids, or the man has to be the man of the family, and a woman's success can never outshine a man's success. And our society really enforces this, even in our soap operas, our movies. It's always, I'll leave my job so that you can have your job. So when we step out on our own, we really challenge these beliefs. There's a part of our subconscious that wants us to be safe, and the way that we stay safe is not to challenge. So as soon as we step out, we step into a place of unsafety, and we'll sabotage our stepping out in an unconscious way, just to try and keep ourselves in a place where we know what's going to happen, a predictability. And small business owners, it's not predictable. We don't know what's going to happen next week when we first start. If I'm working in a company, I can look over my past 5 years' worth of sales figures, and I can forecast and I can work out when I'm going to have holidays. When I'm starting in a small business, I have nothing. I don't even have last week's sales figures. And my first couple of years are really, really rocky. So I work with mindset in making you feel safe, in changing these beliefs, so that when you go out there, it's okay for you to be successful, and it's okay sometimes. So, Beth, you started your small business.
I missed the middle of that. We're getting some more technical issues. I think it's a connection thing this time.
All right. Well, Beth, when you first started out in your small business, how did you go? How did you feel?
Not well. The first year was incredibly rocky. It was a lot of small sales, a lot of patchiness. It's still quite patchy, but it's getting better. I'm getting a bit of momentum up. But yeah, that first year was, I mean, I'm only in my second year, so I'm still fairly new. It's hard. It's really hard. I think the key to it is keeping on showing up. But when you don't feel like showing up because things haven't gone as well as you'd like, it's something you've really got to force yourself to do.
Absolutely. When you first start learning about small business, you hear about these things like most businesses fail in the first 3 years, most small businesses can't survive without big loans, most small business owners spend 60 to 80 hours in their business. And it sets up a pattern within yourself before you even start that this is going to be a really hard, difficult thing, and it's not going to be fun. So you wonder why we even started. We do.
Because we're crazy.
The brain works like a highway, and it almost looks like a road map. So when you have a look at the neurons in your brain, you'll see it looks like a little map, like a Google. And we have worked out a way to get from A to B. And in doing that, this moving from A to B becomes like a really, really rutted roadway. And that's our thinking, that's our mindset. So if we believe that the first 5 years of our business, we're not going to make a profit, we set that roadwork up for us. And we will actually do things not to earn profit. And we'll look back and go, why did I make that decision? Why did I spend that money? why didn't I just do that one more thing? And it's because our brain is going along from A to B along this pathway, this road that says you're not going to make profit in your first 5 years. And to get out of this laneway, it's like it's really rutted. Remember you've been four-wheel driving or you've walked along a road, it's really rutted and it's hard to drive your car out of those ruts. If you can jump your car out of those ruts and start to form a new pathway, that becomes the new road for you. And so knowing that, okay, most businesses fail in the first 5 years, my business is not most businesses. I'm not going to fail the first 5 years because I'm a different person. I'm not average Joe. If I was average Joe, I'd still be back doing that thing that I was doing before.
If I was average Joe, I would have been up a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't suit us. It's a really, really old coat that we sometimes wear and it's just full of patches. We should throw it out. So moving into that new mindset is okay, but that rutted road is still there. So unless we actually put a road closed sign across it, we tend to go back into it because it's familiar and it's safe and it's what we know. And our mindset, our thinking will exactly do that. Remember, because we're talking about the way our mind sets. And this is something plasticity. It's the ability of the brain to go from one mindset to another mindset and stay in that mindset. So there's nothing that we believe and there's nothing that we do that we can't actually change. We can change anything we want to believe in. Part of the problem we have is that we see the world through our eyes and we see a physical world. And to change from one way to another way of thinking, it's like, well, we don't know how this world's going to look. So having our heroes are really, really important because they tell us that we could do that. They're our examples. So even what you're doing, Beth, when you started, you started this group and you've started the interviews, this is showing women, let me give you an example of what you can do or where you can go.
And how you can just be a regular person and do it too. You don't need to be Marie Forleo or somebody who's got a huge following and apparently a lot of money to get going. I think that keeping things real for average real people and even showing them your struggles is something that's such an important thing for all business owners.
Absolutely. Because it's the ones who come up from the ground, the ones who struggled, who, if you keep your humility and say, I'm no better than you, I've just been doing this a bit longer, that's what we want to follow. And so listening to people who are those couple of steps in front of you actually help you to form that new roadway to go along. So it's really important. These sort of interviews are really important. It was only 3 years ago I was putting up road signs on main freeways to close roads. I was one of those people that you hated at 9 o'clock at night because they make you go into one lane. But, I was working part-time. I was working full-time. I was running my clinic part-time. I was studying. I've been doing this for a long time, but never full-time. And to take that plunge and say, okay, I'm going to step off and see where my feet land. This is what, to know that, only a couple of years ago, this is where I was too. And it's a beautiful place. And to hear people who have done this say, this is a beautiful place to be in.
Yeah.
It's so satisfying to be able to decide what time I want to get up in the morning, what order I'm going to do things. If there's someone who needs something, like my mum was really, really sick last year, and I was able to work and support my mum at the same time. If I was working in a full-time job, I wouldn't have had that spare time.
No.
So it means I can go out and do it.
So how do you go about changing your mindset, changing from the I need to really struggle in my first 5 years to I can do this, this is not that hard? How do you get to that point, or how do you take the first steps to getting to that point?
Well, one of them is to know who your heroes are. Find a hero. Find a couple of them, because no one's ever 100% for what you want. But find a couple of heroes. Firm in your mind, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? I find with most people, one of the stumbling points is if I say to someone, where do you want to be in a year's time? They'll say things like helping women, feeling happy, being peaceful, being productive, not so manic, more free time. They're lovely, but they're very intangible in a lot of ways. So making your future something that is really tangible, something that you could say, in 1 year's time, I'm going to be having that brand new car. I'm going to have my computer upgraded. I'm going to be earning this sort of money. And it doesn't matter if you don't get there. What matters is that that's something that you're aiming for, that is tangible, that is real Earth-like type goals. So that's really, really important. The next one is to find yourself a mentor or a coach. Really important. And the reason being is this is the person who holds your hand and stops you falling into the potholes. Because there's lots and lots of potholes. And if you think about it, all through our life we have a teacher or a guide. We always have one, whether we pay for them or not. When we're growing up, it's our parents. When we go to school, it's our teachers. When we go into the workforce, it's our boss or our mentor or our supervisor. There's always someone who's there to tell us the next step or to help us to work out what the next step is. It is exactly the same for us in small business. We're independent when we run our business, but we still need to have somebody to catch us or to say, do you know what an avatar is? Do you know what market segmentation is? Do you know what a niche market is? Do you know about this program or this program or this program? Do you know how to use it today? All of these things are really important, and because we're struggling for money, we think, well, I'll miss that bit and I'll just watch this webinar and I'll be fine. But it's not quite as easy as that. We need someone to be able to help us to do it. And they become our cheer squad. So one of the things that happened for me when I first started was I made my own cheer squad. I phoned up some close friends and I said, this is what I'm going to do. Could you come on my cheer squad? And so once a fortnight, my cheer squad and I used to meet for champagne. And I would tell them about what I was doing and they would cheer me on. And my cheer squad would do things like, oh my God, I didn't make any sales at all this week. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my electricity bill. My cheer squad would message me back and go, don't worry about your electricity bill. They're not going to cut it off for months if you don't pay it. It's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But it was that thing. And then I could also message them, I've just had the most amazing week. I did my first 10 client week. And it was like, yay, we bring our champagne on early. Well done. Your cheer squad is really important. They believe in you. They're the ones who say to you, you've got this, you can do it. Really important people.
Yeah.
And to do this for others too. When you see someone online who's struggling and say, you've got this, you can do it. Because there's something that happens to you when you support somebody else. It makes you steadier and more focused. So the first one is work out where you want to be and find some examples. The second one is find yourself a mentor or a guide. The third one is find yourself a cheer squad. Those are different things in a way too. The fourth one is work out your mindset. Work out what it is that's stopping you. And that's where people like me or life coaches or other people who work with mindset come into our place. Because our place is to take you to help you to get out of that rut and move yourself into the new place you're going. And I think that one of the reasons that there are so many different types of people working with mindset is because there's so many different ways of doing it, and you find the way that's right for you. Exactly. It's not all about, for me, it's like what I do with my kinesiology, I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. The person stays in charge of their own healing. We work at a pace that is that is right. We work with their safety. I absolutely love it. But I also know that some people don't respond well to kinesiology.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have other healers, and that's really important.
Yeah, yeah.
So they are probably the main steps in changing your mindset and moving across. These are the main steps that I'll take.
Okay. That's awesome. So you've got a procrastination program coming up. Tell us about that.
I have. In working with mindset changes, one of the big things that comes up is sabotages. And in January this year, I found myself curled up in a ball on the floor, crying, going, why can't I get this done? What is it that's got in the way? And in that moment, sometimes I think these moments of utter despair are our greatest inspiration. Because what happened was that I looked up and there was one of my textbooks from, a couple of years ago when I was studying. And I just went, all right, I'll open it. And it opened on sabotage clearing. And I went, oh, am I sabotaging myself? And as I read through it, I went, I'm sabotaging myself. Why? Why would I do this? I've worked with all the mindset. And I couldn't work it out because to me, sabotage stopped you from doing anything. And then I started to realize that sabotage is sometimes when you're really, really busy doing everything and you don't do the things that you're meant to do that would actually move you forward. So it's like you've got an illusion of busyness. And so then I took what I knew in clinic and started to develop it so that it could be done in clinic and online, because the idea was, let's get everybody moving forward. I want people to move forward because the more we are abundant, the more we can use each other's services. I want to be at a place where I can organise myself to have an Australian VA. So my abundance then flows on to somebody else who then gets paid, who then becomes abundant, who flows on to somebody else. So to me, this is how women support each other. We tap into what we need. We become very, very powerful creators, and in so doing, we open it up to a whole clinic, to a whole world. So from this, I started to work with women. So in February and March and part of April, I've done over 45 of these sessions and seen huge changes in women and some men, because people said their husbands to me. So what happened was I went, all right, I can work one-on-one. That's okay, but I can only reach a certain number of people. Let's open this up and let's make a 5-day challenge where this is what we look at. We look at why we are busy and not achieving. Let's put ourselves in safe places. Let's put ourselves in a place where we can actually get some things done. So it's challenging in some ways because I'm going to ask people to do things that they're going to go, oh, I don't want to do that. But I'm going to make it safe before you go into that place. We're going to be using meditation. The actual group for the procrastination challenge has already opened and there's already people talking in it. So there's already energy around it. We want to do this. We want to move. And the idea is, why should your ability to pay for getting a procrastination sabotage removed by me be the thing that's in the way of you moving forward? So it's a free 5-day challenge. I want people to come and do it so that they get to see what it's like. Yes, of course, I've got, a masterclass coming after and I've got a course after that. But you don't have to do those things unless you want to. The 5-day challenge will move you through a couple of the things that are holding you back.
That is really awesome. I will be joining you on. And thank you. Great.
Right, excellent. Well, what I'll do is I will send you the link. So if anyone else wants to come and play, they're quite happy. Yeah, awesome.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks again, Sharon. Talk to you another time.
Thank you, Beck. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.